Hello, how are you? My name's Samantha and this is my mini-series which is actually turning into a very long series called Sit Your Library. This is my ongoing efforts to try and get through my very extensive Ravelry library, and we're making headway. It's going to be a long-term project. It'll be fine. The problem is everybody keeps bringing out all these really nice new patterns. That being said though, there's some of the patterns that I've had in my library for so long that I've removed a lot because they're not on Ravelry anymore. I've removed a lot because they link through to websites that no longer exist. I've removed a lot just because my tastes have changed. There's some of them that have been on there for a really long time. When I first started, if you watch like the first few episodes of this series, the plan was originally to do, because in Ravelry you can set the order of how you want to have your library viewed. And I had originally set it so that it was going to go from the oldest to the newest. I have since changed that, but what that did show me was, although most of the patterns I still really like and I still really want to make, there were a few patterns that I'm just not going to get any use from them, because it's not the sort of thing that I would make to sell, but it's also not the sort of thing that I would want for myself, or I had put them in there for a specific gift or something like that I no longer need. So we have got rid of quite a lot of patterns in the library through these various ways and through me just making stuff as well. This has given me the motivation to actually crack on and get making things, because yeah, you know, I want to make the things. That's why I put them in there in the first place. So the other thing as well that I keep forgetting to do is updating you on the actual stats of how it is going. I was doing it every week, and if you don't know, I've got ADHD, so you know, sometimes I forget things. Quite often I forget things. I have new hair as well. I don't like it though, because I did this a couple of days ago and look, already. Anyway, that's by the by. So I will remember today to give you the stats. I am again recording on my phone, so there will be no editing, but we don't really need to edit for this. It's not that much stuff. I have 2 finished objects, and it's not a new start, but it's something I had barely started before, and then ended up having to rip out and restart it again because I couldn't remember where I was, and obviously I didn't make notes. I now have it in Knit Companion, so I don't need to remember to take notes because it's all in there. So I'll start off with my finishes first. This one is the one that was almost done last week. This is an Italian winter shawl. This is by Francesca from, she's the Italian knitter. She has a podcast, I'll link it down below. And she has an entire range of these shawls, all called like an Italian something. And they're all just super simple, easy, just calm knitting patterns. They're really good. If you're just learning to knit, these patterns are really good. There's nothing overwhelming in them. Everything's explained. They're just nice, easy going. And this is this is garter stitch, which means you're just knitting every row, and then you just do these eyelets, which are super easy. You just do these every so often, and she just tells you exactly when to do them. So patterns like these are really good if you're a beginner. If you don't want to do something this big, then she does have smaller ones as well. She has a shawlette, I think. She has a cowl. She has a smaller shawl that's bigger than a shawl. She's got a few different things. Check it out on Ravelry, and obviously this will be linked down below as well. I think for her one, she used Drops Air. Now, I have Drops Air. I've made things from Drops Air before, and it's a very lightweight blown yarn. And I hadn't realised that that's what she'd used at the start because I didn't read it, obviously. But I just looked, I saw like the weight of the yarn that she'd used and the needle size, and I had this from a blanket pattern that I completely failed at doing because brain was not cooperating. So I've ripped it out and I've just made this. So it's a little, I wanted to just use the 3 balls of yarn for it. Right, it's a little shorter than I would like for going round like this, but it's still like that under my jacket in winter. That's going to keep me warm. And the tails are long enough. And because it has these eyelets, this is what I do with all of my shawls. Right, so we find the eyelets and you just pull it through like that and it just stays. And then you can like mess around with it. See? So it is long enough to do like that. Nice big chunky. And then you just pop it back out. It's like, this is a acrylic wool blend. You can do it with anything and it's fine. It doesn't stretch it out because there's no pressure on it. See, it's literally just poking through one of these holes. And because there's no pressure on it, it doesn't actually stretch the hole, but it keeps it in place. But what I plan on using this for mostly is sitting at my desk, because if you don't know, I'm a PC gamer, predominantly playing World of Warcraft. And see, also I'll move my camera down a little bit. Right, this sits just here, which is long enough so that I can sit like this and it's not going to get in my way. Because, put your back a bit. Even though it's summertime, if I'm going to be up late, and World of Warcraft has a new expansion launching this week, Thursday night. But it's like Thursday night at 11 o'clock, so it doesn't matter how warm it is during the day, it can get a little bit chilly at night time still when I'm sitting at the PC. And I get quite warm sitting at the PC quite often, so I don't want to wear a jumper. But a nice little shawl is just enough to keep the chill off. So that's primarily what this will be used for. This is my new gaming shawl. And it's lovely, it's very squishy, and I like it. It's very tactile. The yarn that I've used for it, I actually still have the labels. It is this, which I am aware is back to front. I'm really sorry. So it's Emu Classic Tweed Chunky. Although, it says it's chunky. So it's 80% acrylic, 15% merino and 5% viscose. It's 150 metres, 164 yards for 100 grams. Again, I know it's back to front. But, and this says to use 6mm needles, which is actually what I used. So we have dark denim, grey and moss. So there we go. That's the moss. See, it's got these like nice little tweedy bits in it. Dark denim and the grey. And it's a pretty mid grey, I think. It's slightly bluish. But yeah, really nice. Lovely yarn to work with. Tweedy bits do not fall off very easily, because that's something that I noticed with some tweed yarns, is the tweedy bits tend to fall off and get everywhere, and then you end up with a non-tweedy yarn once it is made into a thing. So I still have a cream, 2 pinks, and there's 2 sandy coloured ones. So the cream and the 2 pinks I am making into a different shawl. And I'm not quite sure what to do with the sandy ones yet. But we shall see. Right, next finished object. Do you remember last week? If you weren't here, you won't remember. But if you were here, do you remember last week how I had made the spiral sock? And I had decided it wasn't quite for me and I was going to rip it out and use the yarn for something else. Well, I did that. The yarn was this Zander Rhodes Colour Lab West Yorkshire Spinners. It is 100% British wool. It is a DK, 225 metres, 245 yards for 100 grams, 4mm needles. This is the colour Bluebell Mist. And this is the colour. Ooh, it's starting to get a little, oh, there we go. It's starting to get a little dark in here all of a sudden. The weather's all over the place. It's an absolute nightmare. It's been really sunny and then it's been raining and then it's been really sunny again. And it's terrible for dog walking because most of the places around here that I like to walk the dog, I can't go after it's been raining because they turn into absolute swamps. Anyway, so, do you know what? I never showed you. Oh! That is that going to work? That's the size of Francesca's shawl. That's her wearing it as a triangle. See, hers is massive. And I say she used drops air for hers, but all the information's on there. Okay, back to this one. So this is Bluebell Mist. It's all pinks and greens and blues. It's very nice. It's I love West Yorkshire Spinner's yarn. It's always really good quality stuff. I very, very rarely get knots or anything like that in the ball. So this, I was going to make another pair of socks with it. However, I wanted to make something really, really quick, really, really easy, because yeah, I just wanted something nice and quick and easy to make. And I had this to hand because obviously I hadn't put it away yet, because why would I do that? So it was in the bag next to my wee seat, next to my sofa. And I was having a little flick through and I was catching up on some YouTube. And I was watching Kelly from Roro and Kids. And I'll link her down below as well. If you've not watched her, you should go and watch her. She's hilarious. I love her. She's a knitwear designer as well. She has loads of patterns on Ravelry. I have tested for her before a couple of times over the years. I have bought some of her patterns and knitted them. She's a really good designer and she does a really good podcast. So, yep, I'll link her. Go and watch her. But she's been doing this thing called Ravelry Roulette. Sometimes I could say it, sometimes I can't. So anyway, she's been doing this. And what she's been doing, which I might start doing with mine, because I had done like a tiny decisions wheel to pick a page. And then I didn't want to make two tiny decisions wheels. But what she's doing is she's going to the random number generator and she's picking a page, and then she's picking, like she's doing it different to me. She's not doing her library. She's just using the Ravelry database. She's picking a project that she wants to do, and then she's using the random number generator to pick a page, and then she's using it again to pick the number on the page, and then she's making the project. So I thought that was a really good idea. So I'm absolutely going to steal it from her. Hope she doesn't mind. And I'm going to start using that instead for picking my thing, because when I use a tiny decisions wheel, I just use it to pick the page, and then I still had to decide what of the page I wanted to make. I had picked Vincent the Dragon. Vincent still isn't any further forward. I'm hoping to get some time on him this week though. We shall see. I haven't made any amigurumi for ages, it feels like. I still have my Zumigurumi book that I'm working through. I still have, I've got hair in my mouth. Ugh. And I still have my pig, my design that I'm working on for my wee boy. So I should probably get cracking with it. I will get around to showing you this pattern eventually. So, I'm sorry. I'm just like waffling at this point. So her thing that I've just watched, I'm a little bit behind on podcasts at the minute, but the one that I just watched, she had done a headband, and I thought, do you know what, that'd be absolutely perfect. I've not done the same headband as her, that one, because she did a knitted one. So I decided to do a headband. So I went into my library, had a look through the headbands that I've got in my library, and I picked this one. Here we go. So just a nice, easy one. It is called the Simple Twisted Earwarmer by Rebecca Langford, who is Yarn and Chai. And I'm sure most people have heard of her at some point. I'll link the pattern down below. This linked through to her website where you can get the pattern for free. She also has a YouTube tutorial, and you can also buy the PDF for it. I don't know where you buy the PDF. It's linked on there. I'm assuming it's in like an Etsy shop or on her website. I didn't check. I should probably check that. You can buy a PDF, you can watch a YouTube tutorial, or you can get the written one on her website bloggy thing. And this is what we have. It's just nice. It's textured. It's got the little twisty knotty thing. And this is, I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to have, because my hair at the minute is not quite long enough to tie up. If you don't know, I'd had my hair cut. I'd had my hair shaved up to here. I had an undercut and it was all starting to grow out. And it was very annoying. So my child chopped it all off for me. So it was all the same length. So I'm hoping it's going to be grown enough so that I can have it tied up. And then, because that looks ridiculous. This is the biggest size I did, because I have a giant head. And look. Ooh. So the plan is to have it, oh God, what a mess I've made. To have it like that, with my hair up in a ponytail, and maybe have some like a couple of little bits coming out like this. Because the thing that I find is, because I am now I'll fix it. This hasn't been blocked, so yeah, we'll see. Because I am now a lady of a certain age, I am 43, I get very hot very easily. And yeah, it's crazy because like we go out to walk the dog, like me and my boyfriend go out to walk the dog, and he's Italian. So like we went out this morning and I had just like my trackies and just a t-shirt on, and he had his jumper. I had his t-shirt, his jumper and his jacket on. So not only do I not get too cold, because obviously I'm Scottish, I'm a bit used to weather, and also I have a little bit of padding, I'm now getting all these hot flushes all the time. So I'm just like really hot all the time, apart from occasionally when I get absolutely freezing for no reason at all. I don't know. Whoever thought menopause was a good idea? Right, so that's my two finishes. Oh my God, I'm on like nearly 19 minutes and I'm just waffling and it's starting to get really dark. Right, the last thing is, it's called Close to You by, I'm really sorry if I get this wrong, Justina Lorkowska. I think that's how you say it. Justina Lorkowska, I think. I'm really sorry if that's wrong. But look at this. Is that not lovely? There we go. So, this is, it's a free pattern. It says it's designed just to use one skein, but you can use more, because it's just like once you've got the pattern, you just keep going. And this is the one that I ripped out and restarted because I couldn't remember where it was. Now, I got this yarn in a mystery thing quite a while ago, and I'd got 200 grams of it. Do you know what? Talking about Kelly, I got that stitch marker from her. Because she's got an Etsy shop and she sells stitch markers as well as like selling patterns and things. I don't know if she sells her patterns on there actually, but she sells stitch markers on Etsy. And they're very cute and they're so reasonably priced as well. Right. I'm going to stop with the Kelly fan club now. So I had made this top ages ago. So if you've watched the regular podcast, you'll have seen this. It's just like a mesh top. And I had a bit of the yarn left over because that did not use 100 grams. And then I had the other 100 gram skein. So this is a DK cotton from what I can tell. But DK weight cotton is not the same as DK weight in anything else apparently. So it feels a lot finer and it feels like, I don't know, it feels like a thick 4-ply. Anyway, I'm using this because I wanted to use it. I really like the colours. And this is what I've done so far. And it is just all these wedges. You just keep repeating these wedges all the way up. It is a very, very easy to follow pattern. So it's got like the eyelets and you can just see it starting to... So all this, where the increases are, is garter. So that's just knitting all the time. And this, the border, is just like garter and then eyelets, garter, eyelets. And then you do a little bit of casting off over here. So this bit here, this section, a marker here, everything on this side of the marker always stays the same. Everything on this side of the marker increases. I'll see if I could find, yeah, see, that's what it looks like when it's all spread out. So, oh, see the border part stays the same, and this is the part where you increase. And all this part up here is just knitting. And the border is easy to easily explained in the pattern as well. So again, it's a good pattern if you're just wanting to start getting in something a little bit more advanced with knitting. It's got increases in it and it's got casting off to make the little wedgy shapes like these bits. But once you have the pattern, it is literally, you just keep repeating that wedge until you run out of yarn. So that's what I'm going to do. Keep repeating the wedge till I run out of yarn. I'm using 4mm Knit Pro Symphonies, which are these pretty ones. I really want to get some of the pink Leica, like the pink ones. I really want a set of them, but I just can't justify buying them right now. But I really want pink knitting needles. But yeah, that's it. So that's my current work in progress. It's my brain is starting to get back to being able to think a little bit again. So that's a perfect project for that, because it is not completely mindless, but it's enough so that I'm not having to concentrate on it too much. So as long as I remember to mark off my rows, there's quite a lot of rows where it's just knitting. And as long as I remember when I get to such and such a row to do this and this, then it's nice and easy going. So, stats. Let me show you my stats. So I have added these into my made list. So if you go back to the very first video in this series, I explained to you what I've done with how I've set up my Ravelry to do this. So these are my stats. and I am aware again, I'm sorry, it's back to front again. So on my made, I now have 128, and on my not made, I have 1,354. I'm also doing, I don't know if people know about this actually. I keep pressing the wrong button. Right. No, not on my queue. I don't want to look at my queue. Right, so if you go onto your projects page on Ravelry, up at the top here, and I feel like I've explained this before, we've got these 4 tabs. Click on challenges, and it keeps track of all the things. You need to mark them off as finished and have a date for them finishing. So my completed projects from my Ravelry queue. Now, I do not put everything I make into Ravelry. I put everything I make where I get the pattern from Ravelry into Ravelry. I know some people like to keep track of everything that they make, but I don't. I literally just, if I've got the pattern from Ravelry, I'll track it in there. So my plan this year, because last year I did 2023, I did 38 out of 40 projects. So because I didn't make last year's goal, obviously this year I wanted this year's goal to be 50 projects. So here we are, we're now in August, we're almost at the end of August, and I've done 27 out of 50. I am 54% of the way. See, it tells you, and again you're reading it backwards, I'm so sorry. See, it gives you the percentage of how far through you are, and it is quite motivating. So yes, that's my little update. We're now at 27 minutes. It's starting to get really, really dark now, and it started raining again because, of course, it's summer. Of course, it's raining. It needs it though. It's very humid. I've been very, very shiny because it's been so humid. Right, I'll be back tomorrow for my regular podcast, and yeah, I'll be back next week with another Stitcher Library. I might try and get Vincent out again this week. I need to remember what I did with him. I put him in a safe place. I don't know what I've done. I'll need to find him. Right, that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to find Vincent, and I am going to put him on my list for this week. Right, so hopefully I will see you tomorrow, and if not, I will hopefully see you next Sunday for another Stitcher Library. Okay, bye!